Welcome to a top 10 countdown with the Nitpicking Nerds.
All right, for this one, we've been getting a lot of requests, and we were talking about it earlier. What would be the best commander if all of their stats were reduced to 1-mana 1/1s?
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. This episode is going to be complete nonsense. So if you like that, turn yourself into a subscriber, and then you catch it all the time. I just bumped into something.
Yeah, calm your hands there, Beezy. You want to be subscribed to this, obviously, because we're awesome. So this list is going to be if you take a commander and you reduce their cost to 1, and you make it a 1/1, that they maintain color identity. And that's pretty much the only thing you got to know.
The only reason that this random video is coming out is because we always talk about like, oh, this commander is really cool, but it's like a 7-mana 5/5 flyer. Like, well, I want to reduce that. Like, oh, I really like the text box, but I could literally not care less about a 5/5 flyer. So let's reduce it as close as we can get to a 1-mana 1/1. And then people were like, hey, you should make that video. Some of our like subscribers, and we're like, okay.
All right, so let's get right into it.
These cards are completely degenerate. This format is miserable, and I would not play it.
Yeah, this format that it would exist where all commanders are 1-mana 1/1s is a miserable format, but we're going to get into why right away.
It's a fun thought experiment. So you can read number 10.
Number 10 is Muldrotha the Gravetide. Its color identity is Sultai, and during each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard.
So every game, every player has access to their commander, and whoever goes first is at a huge advantage. This is not like, oh, hey, this card is pretty good. It's a 1-mana. It's got +1/+1 counters. Gave is a 1-mana 5/5 or 6/6. No, this is like we're gonna win the game on like turn 1, 2, or 3 with all these commanders.
This one, what specifically this one is going to do is it's going to come out, and you're really going to want LED in your opening hand.
Yeah, you want Lion's Eye Diamond or what's the Mox Diamond? This card of land.
Well, let's just
start going off.
Well, let's just talk about the most insane thing you can do.
Sure.
You go land, tap, commander, Lion's Eye Diamond, make 3 mana, discard your hand, replay Lion's Eye Diamond, make 3 mana. You have 6 mana, and whatever you threw in your grave right now, you can start casting.
Yeah, if you have a cheap way to flicker it, if you can somehow get Deadeye Navigator out, if through maybe other ramp, then you just win. You just give it a mana, you can maybe draw your whole deck.
Yep. Also, like, that's already insane. You can do silly things.
It's a good mid-range. You're probably going to want Mystic Remora in this format, so you can get Mystic Remora out early.
I mean, yeah, this card is just going to go off really early. I mean, it's got to have turn 1 wins, I'm sure.
This list is just going to be so fast because we don't even really have to talk about it. It's more of like what we think are the best ones.
Yeah, we get to tell why they're so broken.
Right. Number 9 is Zakama, Primal Calamity. It was just on the least fun commanders, and now it's here. It's 9 mana. Just kidding. It's 1 mana for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, untap all your lands. 2 in a green, naturalized. 2 in a red, lightning bolt a creature. 2 in a white, gain 3 life.
And its color identity is Naya. So
right, it's going to cost 1 Tribrid of Naya.
Yeah, so it enters and untaps all your lands. This
for 1 mana, that seems good.
That does seem really good. This can come off with a ham sandwich is the thing.
Oh yeah, with any sort of cheap bounce it or the it was just in the Zakama deck we did. Zakama is like all over this channel. It's 2 tap bounce commander you control. That just goes infinite on turn 2 or 3 or 4 if you get enough lands out.
This one's also a mid-rangey commander. It can win on turn 1 potentially if you have the nuts.
But
just like
Muldrotha. It also says 2 in a red, destroy target commander.
Yeah, well,
guaranteed because they're all 1/1s. So that is probably the part that pushes it up because this is definitely one of the more fair ones. But speaking of destroying other commanders, what is this next one?
This next one is Elise Norton. All your creatures get +2/+2, and all your opponent's creatures get -2/-2 for a 1-mana 1/1 in mono white.
Yeah, one white for a 1/1. It has vigilance.
It has vigilance. The key here is if you play first, you play this. Nobody else's commander can enter the battlefield.
Right. It stops turn 1 wins because they're going to have to interact with Elise Norton for 0 mana and then do their thing, which probably doesn't happen.
This format is completely degenerate and so weird.
Yeah, this is the meta call. Well, my opponents have degenerate ones, so I'm going to static kill them.
Yes.
There's nothing else to say.
Elise Norton kills all the commanders. That's what's so good. You also, a bunch of these decks coming up also want to play what we're going to talk about right here is you just want to play 0 just for this Elise Norton because you just get to go Elise Norton. Now I play Ornithopter, Memnite. Now how much power am I putting on the board in the beginning of the game?
Maybe. I don't know what the life totals start at. Probably still 40. Because the only thing we're changing is the cost of these cards.
Your opponents can't play their game, and you
It's cool.
and you
Yeah,
get to put
maybe
out a
just-
bunch of power right away.
I'm not saying that's bad. I don't know how I'd build these. Number 7, though, we know what the strongest ones are. Narset, Enlightened Master. We said in the least fun, at least she's a 6 mana 3/2. No, she's a 1 mana 1/1 now. So if you give it haste, you probably just win.
This is extremely easy to win with. As soon as if you hit with this, it's so easy to combo off. We already know how she combos up. Whenever Narset attacks, you reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You can cast any non-creature spells from among them.
So we just chain time walks and extra combats. It's probably turn 1 or 2. What are they ever going to do?
You hit it. If you hit an Omniscience, you just get to go, whoop, I win.
You get to protect it with Force of Will and Pact of Negation and all that crap.
Yeah, it's absolutely, completely devastating.
It's silly, but you need haste. It doesn't have haste. If it had haste, it'd be number 1, I think.
It'd be up there.
Because all that you have to do is build your deck a certain way and you win.
Yeah, I mean, you can get unlucky and miss, but you don't have. If you don't get unlucky, you win.
Resident Chulane, the resident of all of the unfun stuff. He's number 6. He's 1 mana for a 1/1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card, then you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. It just comes in untapped, and then he has Vigilance for no reason, and he has 3 tap bounce a creature.
So what you're going to do here is you're going to play 0-drop creatures. So you get to just go, Chulane plays 0-drop. Now you get to put a land into play.
How many were there? Did we say there was... I think there was like 15 or 20 of them that you just jam into your deck for free, and then you help set up your food chains and your... what's it called? That Drake that bounces itself.
Yes.
Screeching Drake, I think.
I mean, you just get to go off so easily.
He gives you the lands. He gives you the lands right away, so that Chulane's going to end up being free if you have a 0-drop.
And all these lands come in
untapped for some reason. I don't know why.
So now you get to go 1-drop, and now you can just chain 1-drops for a little bit.
Yeah, you thought Flash was stupid? No, if this was CEDH, I don't think anyone would even play.
CEDH would be horrible if this is how CEDH
I just don't think anyone would play this format. There doesn't seem to be a lot of depth to it.
It's Tiny Leaders.
Tiny Leaders was bad.
It's about as good as this format.
As soon as people realized it's mini legacy, it got terrible.
And it was gone.
Yeah. Number 5, who is it?
Maelstrom Wanderer. He's a 1 mana 1/1 with Cascade, costs 1 mana. So what happens here is because he costs 1 mana, you're always going to hit 0-drop. So you
guaranteed hit any 2 0-drops. So if you want to build your deck with only 2 0-drops, you can say every game start with Mana Crypt, Ancestral Vision.
All right. I mean, Wheel of Fortunes or the
Wheel of
Fate.
Wheel of Fate.
Wheel of Fate costs
reset everybody. And if anyone is stuck in a hand they would mulligan, they lose.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff like that. You just get to get 2 0-drops for free. And you have to remember there's a lot of powerful 0-drops.
Yeah, I mean, Mana Crypt is probably one of them that just lets you go off from there and start. You're just already take 2 extra turns, basically.
Yeah, you get 2 mana. I mean, you just get to do crazy things because you get to go 2 free spells right away. Quick, easy, done, get in there.
This is such a abuse of the 1 mana 1/1. Like, he costs 1, so it's not like you're cascading into 7-drops. It's always 0.
Yeah, 0-drops. I mean,
Maelstrom Wanderer are definitely one of the best ones. The next one is the strongest commander that we figure basically isn't going to always win. The top 3 feel like they're going to always win. If they're in a pod of this list, if they're in a pot of anything else, they're just going to win.
Yeah. So
number 4.
So Ulmog, the Ceaseless Hunger. It's a 1 mana 1/1.
Colorless.
It's colorless. When you cast them, exile 2 permanents, and
it's indestructible.
It's indestructible. And when you attack, you exile the top 20 cards of a player's library.
I think with this deck, what you want to do is not go first. If you go second, you cast it, exile their commander and their land. They can't do anything about it. And then probably what you want to do is play something like High Market and just sack this and then play it again on turn 3.
Or you get to go Ulmog, exile 2 different commanders?
Right, 2 different commanders or 2 different lands. And then when it attacks, since all of these decks are degenerate combo decks, you get to just take out a quarter of their deck. There goes your piece that you needed to win.
Yeah, this one's probably the least exciting to talk about. There's not really much to say.
No, it's kind of a stand-in for all the Eldrazi. Emrakul, also really stupid.
I mean, the Annihilator one's also really stupid.
Yeah, Butcher of Truth, Great Distortion, also pretty good because you get to actually interact with people in your colorless deck. So one of those is like, this is number 4.
Yeah, it's number 4 is just the Eldrazi slot.
But they're all worse than probably the next 3.
Oh, definitely, because the next one is Crick, and Crick is a Phyrexian mana for a 1/1. I don't care.
It's either a black or Phyrexian. Doesn't matter for this.
I don't care. He costs Phyrexian because for the sake of this, I'm going to stick with he has black in his mana cost. He doesn't have that anywhere. He's a Phyrexian black. He can cost 0 mana.
That's fair.
Because, I mean, that's what the card is.
I like that. He has a 1/1 though, and he has lifelink.
That is what the card is intended to do. He also gets bigger, which is awesome.
When you cast a black spell, He gets +1/+1 counter. What's the actual best part of it?
Whenever there's a black in an activated ability or
Just a cost.
in any cost, there's a black in any cost, you can pay Phyrexian mana instead. This combo so easily.
I mean, we already know of the people who I had a problem with who were like, turn 1, you can play Mana Crypt and Soul Ring and Crick and then play Doomsday. Like, obviously. No, this one you can just play turn 1 Crick and then Doomsday.
Yeah.
And then draw a card and win. There's
Yeah.
Doomsday piles, not that we know them, but there's Doomsday piles with Crick. Obviously, you're just gonna win.
All you need is like a cremate in your hand.
Something like, yeah, there's plenty of them. I think we looked out, there's probably about 5 or 6 cards just that cost 1 black. Because you still have stuff like Sign of Blood that costs black that still are free.
Yeah.
This is insane. You're probably gonna win on turn 1 or 2.
Easily.
I feel like turn 1, if it's the setup turn, you win on turn 2.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome. But you wouldn't win if you're against this next commander because you wouldn't be able to go to turn 2. You either win turn 1 or this turn 2 commander says, I win.
Yeah, its name is Gingka Core Auger. It's a 1-mana 1/1 as flash, which is important. And at the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7, which means 0.
So if you go first, you play him, you draw 7, you discard down to 7 because for some reason it doesn't give you no maximum hand size, which I always thought was
You
weird.
try to find a free counter.
Yeah, you have plenty of free counters sitting around in your deck.
Oh, there's the one that just got printed that costs 0 if you have your commander. So you have Pact of Negation, probably not playing Pact of Negation, but you have Force of Will, you have that one.
Force
and
Negation.
you have Force of Negation. That's what I keep thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. So we have our 1-mana 1. Now we pass our opponent. If they don't win, they discard their hand.
Right, if they don't answer Jin, if they have some weird setup turn or they don't win, well, you got no hands.
I want to say that if this format existed, the absolutely most bonkers and stupid thing that is the best removal spell in the format, Swords of Plowshares is insane.
So
It is
Plowshares is pretty good.
so good.
It's pretty darn good.
Like
I don't know. Maybe there's better ones. Is there like a 1-mana all creatures get -1/-1 or something?
I don't know.
Nausea?
I don't know what that costs. Yeah, there might be other.
Maybe.
Yeah. Regardless,
We're not crafting a meta where everything is a 1-mana 1/1. We're just talking about, hey, I don't know what we're talking about actually.
I'm sure that there are other. We're gonna get to number 1 in a second.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we missed some.
Yeah,
because
we did look at every commander. These are definitely some of the best ones. If we missed 1 or 2, I want to know. Tell us in the comments because this is just such a stupid, fun experiment that it's the best part is no one can be mad at us.
Yeah, and number 1 is absolutely stupid.
It's stupid. Let's give them 5 seconds to think of what number 1 might be because it's real stupid.
It's stupid. This has got to be. I'll say this right now. In theory crafting, I think it wins probably 85% of the time on turn 1.
Something like that, where there's so many 0 cost artifacts that Joyra, Weatherlight Captain, the 1-mana 1/1 that says whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card, is going to just win every time.
Oh, it's completely, utterly bonkers.
You're in blue, which is the best color in this format, and pretty much any format.
Yeah,
that's the best color in CDH anyway.
So you get to just go. Well, the thing is, you play Joyra, and there's so many. So many.
So there's enough. There's Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond. There's enough free ones.
Lotus Petal
that your deck pretty much just needs something along the lines of like Aetherflux Reservoir. And once you have Joyra, if you can chain 3 or 4 of these, your deck has like 20 lands in it.
Yeah, in theory crafting, we thought this deck would have something like 20 lands.
Yeah, this was one that wasn't obvious too because it's just a 3/3. It doesn't look like because you only get a reduction of 3. You know, Maelstrom Wanderer and Gingka and Ulmog are like, oh yeah, I really want a 1-mana 1/1, but Joyra is just 4 mana. But it's like, well, that actually might just be the best one.
Yeah, because the thing is about this card is it's actually just incredibly easy to combo off as it is, but you can't craft your deck to be 20 lands usually because you have to get up to 4.
This deck, I don't even know if it plays 20. It's some stupid low number.
Oh yeah,
like what you need 1 land in your hand. You're like, all right, ready to go.
Yeah,
you really don't even. Maybe you can play 15. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be completely silly.
You need the math nerds on this one.
Oh, I would love
whatever the math is to where you're likely to get 1, where you're like 80% to see 1 land at your opener. That's how many lands you want.
I would love someone to theory craft this deck. I would love to see the final version of it.
You would love to see it only on paper.
Well, yeah, I mean,
not the abomination that is this actual deck.
Oh man, imagine the world where this is like something I could. What's stupid is because people like. I'm not trying to insult people, sorry, because I did call something stupid. People like to latch onto formats that aren't going to stick.
Like
and
this one?
This is something that would. This is literally, if this became a format, I could see people latching onto it.
Maybe, yeah. We're one step ahead of you guys because there are formats that just they can't hold water. What happened to Oathbreaker?
I mean, that's actually exactly my point. It's Oathbreaker and Tiny Commander, two of the examples right off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's been other ones. Frontier. It just, I mean, maybe that's still thinking like over in Japan, but probably not anymore with Pioneer.
Regardless, like I was talking about like EDH variants that people latch onto really quick.
Specifically?
Yeah, like people they latch onto these little variants because EDH is such a fun and awesome format that like any variant can also be fun, but then you realize, oh, the original is still the best.
I like augmenting EDH. I don't like changing the rules. So Plains Chase I'll do King, like the roles where someone's a king and the assassin, I forget what it's called, Kingdom maybe. I'll do Star where you have opponents and you're playing a 5-player game and it makes it faster. Like I'll do all those, but I don't want to like change the fundamental rules.
I agree, exactly. I don't want to change fundamental rules. That's why Oathbreaker was completely silly. Look at some of the decks from that. How Narset
Gideon Armageddon, Narset
Windfall's the stupidest one I've ever heard.
That's just legal. No thanks. Anyway, this is our top 10 1-mana 1/1 commanders that don't exist. Let us know if you're theory crafting a deck. Maybe we'll do a gameplay. We're not going to do any of that.
I would totally do it for fun.
Well, eventually, like if once we do gameplay, maybe we can come back to this.
Like, how fun would that be in the future? Like, it's going to be like a 10-minute video. We're going to theory craft these decks. We're going to play
maybe we play janky ones on purpose to see what happens.
Yeah, maybe we literally just do the random commander from EDH. And now that's your 1-mana 1/1. You have to build a deck.
That'd be interesting. Someone's going to get like Tobias Andrian.
Well, that sucks to suck. And EDH, I give you some credit.
Yeah.
Your random button is so much better than the actual random button.
What it would be, it's not random. It's random cards that are somewhat playable.
I think it takes into consideration how many decks are built of each. And that.
Maybe.
And then from there, it takes a random one. So it's like when you click random, you're not getting Tobias Andrian, who has 6 decks on the whole site.
Or Barktooth Warbeard. You're going to get Hokey Dokey Dust Drinker or Kumena or Doran.
Reasonable cards.
Just starting to make sense.
But that's our awesome list.
This is such a quick video. We just wanted to throw it out there. We met our quota for 3 videos this week. This one just looks really fun to me. You know what? It was so short and consumable that you should share it with your friends and be like, hey, this is nonsense. Like, or maybe you've talked about this.
Sometimes we like nonsense.
I just want to talk to people in the comments. This is one where we get the ideas out there real quick and then we have a discussion in the comments about it.
Okay, so if you want to support us and help the channel grow even further than what it's growing so far, the first way is to head over to patreon.com/user/nitpicking nerds. There, you can join one of our Patreon tiers, get our awesome perks, and help us out and help the channel grow. The mics are I just want the mics to be here, but they are here. We're just one piece away.
Yeah, we're one piece away. Here's part of it. This is proof.
I don't even know if we're on screen.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, they might not have even seen that.
Oh, well. Thanks to our patrons. You can go to TCG player link in the description. Go anywhere on the site. Navigate wherever you want. We get a kickback on stuff you buy.
Yeah.
Also, buymeacoffee.com. It's a thing. Throw a tip. You can tip us there. That's all we need to say.
Yeah. Thanks to anyone who has supported us and will support us. You guys are all awesome. We love our patrons as much as we can without making them uncomfortable. I forgot to say that, actually.
Yeah, this was nonsense. I'm glad we did it. Just a fun, lighthearted, goofy thing.
Yeah, silly video. And we're done.
It just feels weird to be done already.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.